What's up, Junkie Nation? Excuse me. We got John Martin from PFL. He's the CEO, and he's back. We spoke with him late last year. We get to catch up with him a few months later. John, how you doing? Happy New Year.
I'm well. Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you, sir. So right away, we know the blueprint, right? We got first you're going to Dubai, then you're going to let me see, I got them all in order here. Dubai, Spain, Pittsburgh, Chicago. That's what I'm talking about. I like that we have locations, the cards are filling up, a lot of talent. So I like the move away from the tournaments. What's been the reception of the fighters?
It's been good. It's been really universally positively accepted. And I think fighters appreciate this format more. In fact, I haven't really heard among the fighters any complaints. And I like this for a lot of reasons. Look, 2026 is the year where we need to delight the fans. And that's not to say we weren't doing it before, but this is a really important year for us. So to be able to curate cards where we're really putting best versus best and have on every card either title fights or title implication fights or career tests and better storylines. So, I think we're starting off really, really strong in Dubai. Then I look at the Madrid card, that's very exciting. And Pittsburgh is also very exciting. So I like the way we're starting.
The first one on deck is Saturday, the 2nd of February out in Dubai. You have Umar Nurmagomedov against Alfie Davis, so tournament champion winner versus undisputed. Then you got Kura Magomedov versus Musayev, an older champion versus a champion that came over from Bellator and is doing his thing now at PFL. Jesus Pinedo, a former champ. It's loaded. I really like it. But the start time for us is a little earlier in the morning on the Pacific time zone, in the afternoon for the East Coasters. And so I know this is a pivotal year for you guys on ESPN. What's their preference? Do they want to be in prime time? And is this like an exception they make, or does it go with their schedule because of all the programming they have?
This is the last year of our previous agreement with ESPN, and previously they've only broadcast about 10 events in the U.S. for PFL, and this year they've agreed. They've agreed to increase that to 16. And that's good. I think it's good for them, but it's good for us. But what that's going to mean is there's going to be 10 on their linear network, same as last year, and the additional 6 are going to be on their streaming service. And so those are the ones that will mostly be out of prime time because they'll probably be events that we'll either have in Europe or somewhere else like Dubai. So it's interesting to see what the audience reaction is going to be. Bellator used to these podcasts understand off of prime time and get pretty good audience reception. So I'm just excited that they're more business with us than they were before, and I think they're very excited about the format changes that we've announced as well.
Okay, well, I know Dubai is big for you guys. They are partners with you as well, so we understand that there are going to be some shows that way. But hopefully, ESPN is wanting more stateside, and it sounds like they are. So you answered that question. You're going to Spain. That's tremendous. You're the first major organization going there. Why? How did you pull that off? And how are other current and former promotions? They haven't.
How did we pull it off? I don't know exactly how to say that. We thought. We had been in discussions with Spain, and that predated even me coming here. But when Castelo Vanstinas won and beat Johnny Eblin with his affiliation with the Spanish, where he is part Spanish, we thought it was a natural to have him fight and lead the card in Spain. And we want to be in big markets. And we like to be in markets that we haven't been before. And we like to be in markets where UFC hasn't been before. And so the reception, I think, from the fans is there's a tremendous amount of excitement. And I expect that we'll be able to sell out the event there and bring a really high premium MMA event to Spain. These are the type of things, the events that I'd like the PFL to be doing. You should expect more of this.
I think you guys are going to hit a home run. You're going to Madrid. You're going to Palacio Vista Alegre. I looked it up. It's got 14,000. It's got 3 different arenas, I think, attached. So a little bit for everyone. And I guess what I'm wondering, because I turned into a fan as well as being a media member, Does it come to site fees? Is that why it's so hard to do it? Some people are expecting that site fees for a certain city or country to get a concert, a sporting event there. Is that what the world's kind of come to, I guess?
I think that's one of the variables. I think, there's a lot of different objectives when we decide to determine when we're going to have an event. Site fees is one of the ways, but it's also, again, it's about bringing fans great fights, great cards, and put local fighters that have a real local loyalty. There's nothing better than that. There's nothing better to be in an arena where you see a local hero come and fight. When I was in Lyon, every time we had a French fighter there, the crowd was just electric. And that's not to say they weren't engaged when there were French fighters, but it's a special feeling. So the ability, again, for us to push the envelope and to go to someplace new and to have a Spanish fighter be the top of the card is something I think that's extremely appealing. And look, we look at is MMA an important sport in the country? I think MMA is going to be received very, very well in Spain. I expect it's going to be a sellout crowd, and I'm thrilled to bring all promotion there.
Well, I did look at the card, and there's a lot of Spanish talent. I'm excited about that. Van Steen's, wow, what a gutsy comeback in that fight against Eblin. He became a star, so you got the right guy. Fabian Edwards has earned his way into a big fight like that. So I know you're going to hit a home run because I watched soccer. I knew Bellator was going to hit a home run when they went to France, and look at that. Everyone's dipping into France now. So best of luck with that. I really think it's going to be an awesome market, and I applaud you guys for going there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Pittsburgh and Chicago, we have time to get to some of those, but I love what you're cooking up, in Pittsburgh as well. It just goes with the theme of having, either a title fight or two, and then backing it up with former champs and your biggest stars. Do the fighters themselves actually have a say? Like, I want to fight international, I want to fight stateside, or is it just up to you guys? You guys call the shots.
We're largely in control of how to matchmake and curate. That's not to say we don't listen to what they'd like to do. And sure, that's something that we take into consideration, but we're making the decisions.
John, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your mindset. I know you started off as a big fan of mixed martial arts, and as a CEO, what is the percentage of times that you're thinking as a CEO and times that you're thinking as a fan?
It's a little bit of both every day, and it could be hour to hour, to be honest. I think, I enjoy the part of the job when I'm thinking like a fan the most. And part of when I first came in, it's to focus on the operations, the employees, the employee talent we had. We just completed a successful capital raise, which took a bunch of time. And I'm excited that a lot of that is now behind me, and I can spend even a greater percentage of my time on the part of the business that I'm actually most excited about, which is the fighting and the fighters and driving fan appeal and building the brand. And yes, there's always going to be both. I don't even know how to say, is it 50-50 or 70-30? I think it depends on the day, but I'm responsible for both. And I try to sometimes, it's you got to click one side of your brain off and move to the other side, but it's exciting. This is a really exciting job. It's a fun business to be in. It's very dynamic, and it's every day is unexpected stuff, but it's all good.
John, in college sports, sometimes when a new coach comes in, they don't really judge them on the first year because they have other talent from, that was recruited before, and then they bring in their own players and all that. But usually around 3 years is the sweet spot. For you, how long does your plan, do you feel that you've envisioned, how long will it take to play out in your eyes?
Well, I'm smiling because I don't have 3 years. I got now, and I'm excited about now. And look, I think, I think the vision is a multi-year vision, and it includes lots of different things, like the brand needs to be elevated. We've got to raise brand awareness, particularly in the United States, where, there's been a world tournament. This UFC is such a dominant player in the US. I don't think the US audience has had exposure to the quality of the fighters that are at the top of our roster. And so I'd like to bring that to the US market this year. And at the same time, every event has just got to be exciting. and we've got to get better at storytelling, and we've got to get better at knowing who our customers and our fans are. So it's all of these things that just it should build on one should build on the next. And if we do it right, then it shouldn't take that long. But over the next several years, you should see dramatic improvement, not only in the economics or the finances, but really in terms of fan engagement, brand awareness, having PFL be part of the MMA conversation. When right now, I think PFL is pretty well known by really hardcore MMA fans, but we got to get more casual fans to know that it's not just UFC, that there's another promotion out there, PFL, who puts on amazing events with world-class fighters. And so I'd like to see that begin to take hold. And I don't think it takes that long to do it, but we need to start this year. This is a critical year for us to do that.
I love that answer. I do want to ask you, this past weekend, Paramount Plus, right? They had their splash into mixed martial arts. And did you get a chance to kind of see that broadcast and whatever bells and whistles they offer? And maybe it's a good scouting report, right? To see possibly where PFL could end up. There's so many different streaming services these days, but what were your thoughts on all that?
I thought they did a great job. I mean, first of all, you couldn't help but be impressed with the amount of promotion that Paramount Plus put behind that event. And it was well done. Not only just the amount of the promotion, but the way that they did it was really good. And when I watched the event, I couldn't help but be impressed by, that was a big time sporting event. When you looked at the arena and when you looked at just everything about it, it was very, very well produced. I think when you look at what we did in Lyon and in Dubai, it doesn't look dissimilar. And it's just in the US in the past, they've been more studio shows. So we're going to bring, when we go to Pittsburgh, it's a little bit of a smaller arena than what they had in Vegas. But I want even the television viewers to feel that energy and to get the sense that this is a big MMA event. And our production's pretty good. It's very good. So, I think want to elevate in the fans' minds the type of events that we're throwing right now at the PFL. And so I think, look, UFC sets the standard and sets the bar very, very high. But, I'm an ambitious guy and always striving for nothing but first rate and working toward perfection, which is unachievable. But I thought they did a great job. I thought they executed really well. I thought the main event really brought the whole night home, because before that, the fights were a little bit uneven. But kudos to them.
Last year, you told us that negotiations, talks with ESPN would start soon. Have you started those yet? And if so, how are they going?
Yeah, I would say, I'm not going to be able to comment as we're going into these things, where we stand on the negotiations. We are beginning and in the midst of negotiating, but I'm not going to be reporting out on it. And somebody asked me the other day when I believe that I'll have news to report, and I said 2026, and I smiled a little bit, because sometimes these things move quickly, and sometimes they require a little bit more time and attention, and so they'll go at whatever the natural path it is. And we're looking for a fantastic partner. We have ESPN already, and we're starting to get to know. I want to know if they really want to be in business with us, and if it makes sense for them, and if it makes sense for us. And it's not only the amount of the rights fees, but it's the marketing, it's the promotion, it's the channel consistency when you're on linear TV. All of that matters. And when you have a brand that needs to be elevated like we have, all that stuff matters a lot. But when you look at the UFC event on Paramount Plus, you see the benefit of all of that promotion that Paramount put into it, and the way that they're using all of their assets to promote the UFC. It's extraordinary for that promotion. It's extraordinary for the sport. And I don't think it's bad for PFL, because I don't think it's a zero-sum game. We're trying to still grow the category here. I just want to be more and more part of that conversation when people talk about MMA.
When the NFL season ends, there's a lot of changes, right, with coaches. And I don't want to use the term clean house. We'll just say changes have been made at PFL since we last spoke. Is that just part of the course as well for a promotion? Was that, I guess, your decisions to make some of these changes? Some were branded as parting of the ways, maybe, on their own. How would you comment on that?
excuse me. Look, I think the one that I want to mention is Donn Davis, who was the founder, and honestly, the reason why I'm here. And Don's been an extraordinary partner with me for the time since I've been here, and I've really valued his advice, his counsel, his expertise, and the decision was made that now would be the right time for him to be taking a step back. But I think nobody loves the PFL more than Donn. I think he's going to leave a lasting legacy here, and I still very much look forward to keeping in touch with him. As far as the other changes, I think I'm very happy with the direction that we're going in, and the new talent that we're attracting to the PFL. I've made a couple of high-profile hires. Lenny Daniels has joined as our chief operating officer. He ran Turner Sports for me, and was there after I left, and is an extraordinary media sports executive, and he's taking over a lot of the day-to-day responsibilities. And then Jason Oberlander on the sponsorship side as we try to grow that business aggressively. We've got a good product. We've got a really, really good product. We've got world-class fighters. Now from the business side, we've got to start to grow revenues a little bit more aggressively, but it all starts with the product, and the rest of it should follow. So I'm very confident. I'm confident with the changes that were made. I think our better days are definitely ahead of us. And I'm excited for the direction that we're going in. And yes, I think it's natural with new leadership that there are personnel changes. I don't think anybody should look too much into it.
You come from the basketball world. You definitely were part of that. So I'll use an analogy. Is Nemkov versus Ngannou a layup, a slam dunk at this point? Do you have anything to tell us about when we can see those two again? Or really the question is more towards Ngannou, one of your biggest stars.
Yeah, no, I think, unfortunately, I have nothing to announce today at the moment. I think with Francis, I'll have something to announce if we have something, and it's got to be a fight that makes sense for Francis. It's got to be a fight that makes sense for us. So I'm aware of. I was cage side when Nemkov beat Hainan, and it was a pretty dominating performance. And he's a terrific, legitimate heavyweight champ, and we'll see who his next opponent's going to be. So just I'll have something to announce when I have it.
Do you have a hand in matchmaking now?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, and we'll finish with this. We pitched Cyborg versus Ditcheva last year. You didn't seem too interested at that time, but mostly the focus because they both had fights coming up. Now, Ditcheva wound up pulling out of hers. Cyborg already had hers. But then Cyborg grabs the mic a few days later. We put it in the universe, I felt like, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. She must have been listening to Junkie Radio, and the guy's pitching John Martin the same super fight. John, are you more warm to it? I know Ditcheva's been saying, well, no, I'm smaller and she's a little bigger, but Cyborg said she'll go to 135 by the fall. That would give Ditcheva maybe some time to grow into the 135 frame. She says maybe a little bit more cheddar, and I do this. What are your thoughts now?
Well, I think you put something into the universe, and I did remember that when I heard this come up. So listen, I think for those that may not remember, Dakota was supposed to be on the Dubai card. She had a hand injury. She had to pull out. So Denise Kielholtz, who she was supposed to be her opponent, is still fighting. Let's see what happens in Dubai. I still like that fight for Dakota. I expect she's healing nicely. She's healing quickly. And so I would expect her to be fighting again sometime in the summer. And then there's somebody else in the weight class, Liz Carmouche, who's also got some title consideration, and that's a vacant title right now. And so I want to see those fights play out. I think Chris Cyborg, I'd like to see her fight this summer. We're trying to put something together for her, and that would be really, really terrific. And we'll see. I will tell you that I like, and I'm warming up to the idea of Cyborg Ditcheva. I think it's an interesting idea. I'd like to try to make that fight. I just want to do it at the right moment and the right time.
Well, you're welcome, sir.
I give you all the credit.
Hey, who would be the A side real quick? Ditcheva seems to think it would be her.
I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that.
That is a tough one, man. She's a legend, Cyborg. She says she's got one more fight left, but if somehow they each fight, maybe Carmouche and who's the other, Leo McCourt, then maybe they can be talked into that super fight at the end of the year. I want to see. I think Ditcheva is on the cusp of becoming one of the biggest stars in all of MMA.
it
starts with that. And I know Cyborg's on her way out, but she's been a star the last 20 years.
She looked great in Lyon. I'll tell you, that was a pretty impressive win. So I appreciate all the comments you said. And look, I'm looking forward to Ditcheva healing well. And we got to get her back fighting again.
I hope you have a great show on February 7th in Dubai, folks. This is a Saturday, and it's early afternoon on the East Coast, morning for the Pacific time zone, and then they'll go to España in March for Castelo Vecinos versus Edwards 2, March 20th. This one, however, is a Friday. We'll have plenty of time to talk about this in the coming months, but we thank you for your time today, sir. We really appreciate it.
No, it's great to see you both again, and I hope to be speaking again soon. Take care.